I'm Sean Hill from the Hansen Research Group at Florida State University, and today I'll be presenting on a recent article we published in JACS, the Journal of the American Chemical Society, titled Harnessing Molecular Photon Upconversion in a Solar Cell at Sub-solar Irradiance, the Role of the Redox Mediator. Photon upconversion is a process that consists of a sensitizer and acceptor pair of molecules, whereby the sensitizer is excited to its singlet excited state with low energy photons. It then undergoes fast intersystem crossing to its triplet state and can transfer this triplet energy to a nearby acceptor molecule. If two of these events happen in close proximity, these two acceptors in their triplet state can undergo what's called an annihilation event, sending one down to the ground state and propelling the other into its singlet excited state, from which it can emit a higher energy photon than was initially absorbed. We call this process photon upconversion via triple-triplet annihilation, and it essentially converts two photons of lower energy to one photon of higher energy. In our group, we're interested in applying this process to solar energy conversion, where the theoretical efficiency of a standard solar cell is approximately 33%. The losses primarily limiting solar cell devices are those of transmission of photons lower than energy of the band gap of the absorber material. If we can incorporate photon upconversion in one of these devices, we can harness some of these lower energy photons and raise this theoretical efficiency limit to approximately 43%. Previously, attempts at harnessing photon upconversion inside of a solar cell device were done via a upconversion filter behind the solar cell that would upconvert the lower energy photons that the solar cell could not absorb and then re-emit those into the solar cell architecture. However, if we can directly integrate this process into a solar cell, then we can have light absorption and triple-triplet annihilation within the solar cell architecture and direct charge separation at the interface so that we can collect the electrons as photocurrent. In our group, to do this, we use the self-assembled bilayer architecture, whereby the acceptor molecule is directly bound to the metal oxide surface, followed by a zinc 2+ linking ion that links the acceptor molecule to the sensitizer molecule. This is formed via a simple stepwise soaking technique and monitored via UV-Vis and ATR-IR spectroscopy. The bilayer has been successfully used to generate photocurrent that is approximately 4 times the sum of its parts in the individual monolayers of acceptor and sensitizer on TiO2. This work was published last year in the Journal of ACS Energy Letters. To achieve sustained photocurrent in the device, we used a cobalt-based tris-bipyridine redox mediator. In this article, we chose to explore the effect that the redox mediator has inside of the solar cell on the upconversion process by incorporating 6 different cobalt-based redox mediators, all with similar size and varied redox potential in order to probe the events in the system. Current voltage curves were obtained with each of these mediators in the same bilayer architecture within different solar cells. As you can see here, the device performance on the left corresponds to the isolated upconversion performance inside of the solar cell. As you can see, there's a wide variation in the performance of each of these cells just by changing the redox mediator species. If we summarize this data in a table, we can see that the cobalt phenanthrene redox mediator performed the best with a maximum photocurrent from upconversion of 158 microamps per centimeter squared. We also measured current intensity dependence plots, which measure current versus the excitation power density. As you can see, the crossover intensity, or ith value, varies widely with each of the different mediators as well. This crossover intensity is important because it represents the point at which upconversion becomes the most efficient inside of the cell. If we draw a line to represent the solar irradiance in the low energy region of our sensitizer, we can see that 3 of our mediators have crossover intensities above this threshold, and 3 have crossover intensities below. This is important because performing below solar irradiance means that it can operate under normal sunlight conditions. In order to probe the differences in the crossover intensity, we looked at quenching by each of the cobalt species in the solution versus our sensitizer molecule. Our mediator solution consists of both cobalt 2+ and cobalt 3+ species that make up the redox couple. As you can see here, the relative emission quenching by each of the cobalt mediators of the sensitizer triplet state energy trends directly with the ith value or crossover intensity, meaning that the more quenching we have, the higher power density that needs to be put into the system to achieve maximum upconversion efficiencies. We can see here that the ith value is inversely proportional to the energy transfer efficiency and the triplet state lifetime. If the triplet energy transfer yield decreases and the triplet state lifetime decreases, then the ith value increases, and this is a negative effect on the system. Further studying the cobalt quenching mechanisms, we found by transient absorption spectroscopy that the cobalt-2 species was reducing the lifetime of the triplet state of the sensitizer molecule, but no new species was formed in the absorption spectrum. However, in the presence of cobalt-3 plus mediator, a new peak formed at approximately 600 nanometers, corresponding to the oxidized species of the sensitizer. This was verified with sensitizer directly bound to Ti2 surface to induce electron injection, as you can see in the red spectrum below. We also monitored single wavelength kinetics for each of these systems, and we noticed that the quenching constant for the 2 plus and 3 plus cobalt species is approximately the same, despite a 10-fold concentration difference between the 2 plus and 3 plus species in the device mediator solution. This implies that the cobalt-3 plus species is quenching the sensitizer triplet energy far more than that of the 2 plus species. In summary, we've shown that the redox mediator plays a substantial role in the device performance and upconversion efficiency inside of these solar cells. With the cobalt phenanthrene redox mediator, we were able to show the highest triple-triplet annihilation upconversion photocurrent enhancement of 0.158 milliamps per centimeter squared, and also one of the lowest ith values reported at 0.8 milliwatts per centimeter squared with the PZ-PY-PZ mediator. We also observed two different quenching mechanisms by the cobalt species in the mediator solution of the triplet state energy of our sensitizer molecule. In the future, we plan to run full kinetic studies in the presence of these cobalt mediators to probe such kinetics as the regeneration rate, the recombination rate, and possible quenching mechanisms of the triplet states of the acceptor molecule as well. And then we want to relate these cobalt mediator quenching trends to the photocurrent and crossover intensity values because they rely on the efficiency of the upconversion process. With that, I would like to thank the Hansen Research Group, as well as my advisor, Dr. Hansen, and the Florida State University Energy and Materials Initiative, as well as the NSF MRI for funding aspects of this research.